Malosi for the Piaggio.
Old and crusty, new and fancy.
Do it again, that was rad, come on. I'm gonna make you YouTube famous, let's see it. This is a Piaggio model, and since we have it here, we may as well explain. This is Brandon Galbreith's bike up in Seattle, Washington. But let me show you something on this bike. Let me show you something, thinking of Fire Marshal Bill, you know? So the Piaggio motor is a bottom mount engine, fuel injected motor, still a 2-stroke, but it's gonna use a different wheel. So what are the most common issues that you see that you've seen being in the Aprilla industry with these motors in general?
The fuel pumps and the pressure regulator down here are the biggest issues on the Ditech.
Thank you for holding the line, car services. This is Maurice. How are you doing today?
I don't know, you can't put me on the spot like that.
For the good stuff.
This thing's fuel injected?
It sure is. Direct injected, actually.
So what kit is this?
It's the Malosi for the Piaggio version of the Sr50 Ditech motor. Better ports, better pad, machined out.
Old and crusty, new and fancy. Look at that parts, boy.
Torque wrench. That's gangster.
Do it again, that was rad, come on. Do it again, I'm gonna make you YouTube famous, let's see it. Spin those bars around, come on. Dang, that's what I'm talking about, over the curb, around the cone. Looks good, man. Come on guys, we've got a Aprilla Sr50. This is a Piaggio model, and since we have it here, we may as well explain. This is Brandon Galbreith's bike up in Seattle, Washington. Super rad customer, been doing business with him for several years. Went ahead and hit us up, said he wanted to do a big bore kit and variator. He's already got a pipe on it, and so we've got the motor out of the bike. Of course, it's gonna get new coolant and all that good stuff as well. But let me show you something on this bike. Let me show you something, thinking of Fire Marshal Bill, you know? For all you guys that have questions, figured I'd show you guys. So the Piaggio motor is a bottom mount engine, and the way you can tell if it's a Piaggio is it's going to have the plastic cover with these kind of faux bolts here. So the Aprilla Sr50 came with 3 motor types, and this is the Piaggio fuel injected motor, still a 2-stroke, but it's going to use a different wheel, and the whole motor is going to be different than the Morini bikes over there. So I'll roll on over there and show you guys the Morini motor and how to tell the difference. But this customer's just getting a Malosi kit, which comes with a piggyback computer, and he's just, which came with reeds as well, and using the pipe. He already has a stage 6 clutch he got from us and a belt. Ran pretty good. Hey Dustin, how fast did you say you got it up to 40, high 40s or something?
43 is indicated is what I got it up to. The bottom end, the CVT power was linear, so we'll see if we have good riding characteristics and can beat 43 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, it should be in the 50s probably, something like that. Makes a pretty big difference.
54.
50s, yeah, something like that should be a pretty big difference. But
what type of carb goes on this?
The fuel injected type throttle body. Dustin, you mind explaining what, kind of tell them how this all works up here?
Yeah.
You got a minute? just because we have it out, may as well explain to people kind of how the Ditech system works.
So the Ditech, you get 100 pounds of fuel in here. This here pressure regulator regulates it to 36 pounds. It's also got air injection, so there's a compressor on the bike. Goes through this, goes through the second injector, fires a wet, sloppy mixture on the spark plug. So it's kind of neat, kind of like a diesel motor, but it uses spark ignition rather than compression ignition. It's bizarre, weird, kind of cool.
It is definitely
It's
bizarre.
the Ditech.
Bizarre and kind of weird. So what are the most common issues that you see that you've seen being in the Aprilla industry with these motors in general?
The fuel pumps and the pressure regulator down here are the biggest issues on the Ditech. Third would be cracked fuel lines.
So it's 100 and something PSI.
The fuel comes in at least 100 PSI, regulates it to 36 pounds, coming out to the return.
Cool. Yeah, so pretty simple, pretty
it's about
easy build.
70 pounds of pressure from the compressor going in here.
Seem to be like they're reliable when they run good, but they seem
good
to be
when they
kind of
run,
a pain
yeah.
to diagnose. Definitely seem like they're more challenging to diagnose, but
Yeah, other than that, they're a good motor. They're fun, they're cool, they're quirky, weird. They don't make a lot of horsepower.
they run good. They're not high RPM motors. They're kind of just lower, kind of mid, more torquey, I guess. But
Your call is very important to us. Please stay on the line and you'll be transferred to the next available agent.
Thank you for holding the line, car services. This is Maurice. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. What is this about?
Well, this call is in regards to lower down the interest rates on your existing credit card, like Visa, Master, Discover, and American Express. I believe
Lower
you
my-
have a recorded message.
Lower my internet rates? I don't need internet. You lower my internet rate. You want to make my internet slower?
Lower interest rate.
Oh, I thought you said internet rate.
Yes.
Okay. Uh-huh.
I believe you heard the recorded message regarding lower interest rate on your existing credit card.
Yeah, it's probably my wife. It's probably my wife, Zelda. She probably called. Are you guys delivering the cat litter today? This is a cat litter company, right?
so over here, since we have the bikes here, I don't have any Minarelli variants of these bikes. Here's the Morini, and you guys will see this coming too. But the Morini motor on this side here, Pat. So if you have the Minarelli, so there's Minarelli is the first version, that's 99 and 2000. And then this is the Morini version. So it goes Minarelli is the first model, Morini is the second, Piaggio is the third. So that's the third model. The Minarelli is carbureted, Morini is fuel injected, and Piaggio is fuel injected. But when you're purchasing an SR50 and you want to know what type of motor it is, what you pay attention to is this cover here. So this motor here is going to have 3 bolts and the plastic cover. It's kind of sticking off a little bit. The Minarelli typically has a silver cover, and the water outlet is totally different. They're going to look the same, body's the same, your wheel's going to be the same as well as far as how they look, but they're all going to fit differently. It's pretty common people will buy these bikes thinking they get the Minarelli model and they get the Morini. But here you can kind of see the difference between the motors. So both pretty, the Piaggio is definitely a better motor for modifying. These are not quite as good, but that being said, I've had one that I had built up that was really reliable, and it did high 60s, 67, 68 miles an hour built up. So they're still a lot of fun. But yeah, it'll be cool to kind of see where these bikes land as far as power goes, because we may have this one done and that one done at the same time. Be pretty cool to have them side by side, but yeah, super simple bike, simple build. We do stuff like this all the time, and Dustin knows his Aprillas really well. Went on lift this morning, and it'll be done probably tomorrow morning.
And these ones are full builds, all 3 of these, or just these 2?
This one is going to be basically crank, pipe, cylinder, reeds, full variator, all new graphics on the panels are going to get wrapped from top to bottom. We got new levers, blinkers, windshield, seats, powder coat the wheels, tires, brakes, rotors. So it's basically going to be a restoration aside from like stripping down the whole frame. That one's going to be a full mild restoration, I should say. This one's going to get, these 2 are basically going to get the same builds. These are going to get RC1 Malossi race motors in them. This one's going to be more wild. it's also getting the same treatment as this as far as like bearings and brakes, tires, powder coat wheels, all that good stuff. Once that one's knocked out, because that's definitely the easiest one, then we're going to focus on this one, and then we're probably going to do these two at the same time because they're both going to need some motor mount work. They're both going to need full Melosi motors built and everything too. So yeah, my guess is this one's going to be the next one, which should be next week. So every Friday we've got blocked out for doing builds because we have so many stacked up, and then we have that little 89 Elite over there. It's getting full DO motor, disc brake wheels. I think he's getting billet 10s, which we're gonna have custom made disc brake. Yeah, full AF16 swap as well. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 builds for customers, which is, yeah, so
plus motor builds that are in and out.
Plus motor builds, plus our builds that may or may not happen because we'll be doing these. So yeah, it's pretty cool to have all the work. Paul's riding or hiding? You're riding? Your hair looks good today.
Does it?
Yeah.
Paul, you got a fun fact of the day?
No.
Nothing.
When he says that, dub in like boo, like how the audience you hear like oh.
More Dustin sound effects.
Yeah.
You can't put me on the spot like that.
Yeah, I do. That's what I like to do to you.
You'd be like do.
I just cut
1 hour later.
I just cut till Paul comes up with something clever. Put the pressure on him while he's under.
He's got some clever stuff.
Oh, I come up with a lot of great ideas around the shop.
You could do the
That's
turbo speeder bitch I need and bleep it out.
Okay. Well, it's not really a fun fact. Well, this is a fun fact. I convinced Brandon that we're gonna build a Honda Civic with a Duramax diesel motor and mid-engine.
You didn't convince me. You said, "Hey, you want to hear a stupid idea?" And I said, "Normally I don't, but since you said it was stupid, I do." And then you told me, and I said, "That is a stupid idea."
That's not a fact of the day.
It's a fact that I brought it up.
What have you learned since you've been here?
What did I learn?
What's something you learned?
What did I learn? I learned a lot of things. Jeez. Well,
Fun fact of the day: buy a Toyota Camry.
no.
yeah. He talks about how great it
Paul talks
is.
about Camrys
Oh,
like
my
their
car.
sense of currency. He'll go, "Oh, you know how many Camrys I could buy with that? Or you know how many Camrys that would equate to?" So the Camry is basically a measurement of currency at this point. Yes. Yeah, that's for 2.1 Camrys. All right, I'm gonna try to finish this up.
There's no fun facts, Pat.
You know what, Paul?
Fun fact: buy a SE bike. It'll change your life.
It's not life-changing.
You're very disappointing on this right now. Brush your teeth twice a day, at minimum.
Well, that's not really a fun fact. That's a tip.